collection of things. He's 39 years old. He's gotten hit a lot this year. We're going to rest him. Hey, maybe we'll bring him back. Maybe it's just a temporary thing, but he's out of the lineup right now because he's not 100%. I think that's what they're doing. It's much easier for Mike Tomlin, who we know does not like to say many critical things about Ben. He hasn't had many hard conversations with Ben over the years. I think he wants something that he can use to potentially push Ben off to the side, and I think this hip injury might be the thing that allows him to do that.
You know, I do want to ask you, and this is kind of same topic but off topic a little bit. So we've interviewed Ben a couple times this year, obviously since training camp till now. Do you find anything different about the way he answers questions now than he has in years past? Now, you did a show with him. I've been interviewing him for the last, 2 decades almost. But I find him being more reserved and more thoughtful with his answers now.
Well, I think he definitely is with you guys. I think that's changed a little bit. I think before, when he used to do the show on Tuesdays with us, he would get a lot of those answers out of his system, and then he would get asked about what he said on the show, or he would get asked the questions again in a different way on Wednesday, and he wouldn't feel like repeating himself. So now that platform and outlet is gone, I do think that he's been much better with you guys over the last few years in terms of giving more thoughtful, more thought-out answers. Now, I think what we're seeing from Ben this year, if you're really paying attention to what he says after games, and during the week with you guys like tomorrow, I think he still, you can tell, is not fully buying in to what the Steelers' offensive plan is. First it was, we don't have any no huddle stuff anymore. He said that after the second game, after they lost to the Raiders. I was shocked some of the things he said about Najee Harris after the game in Green Bay. Najee needs to be more like Jerome Bettis. He needs to be more physical out there. I was totally shocked by that. You asked him after the game in Green Bay, hey, Ben, what happened on those 4th down plays? He goes, I don't want to answer that question right now. I'm not exactly sure which ones you're talking about. It just, to me, sometimes I think he bites his tongue. Other times I think he lets it slip out a little bit. It's a new coordinator and a whole new offense, and I don't think Ben is fully embracing it, Richie. And I also don't think Matt Canada believes Ben Roethlisberger is the quarterback to run the entire scope of the Matt Canada offense.
But he said that, but then he kind of answered it saying, hey, maybe it was a little bit of both, duress, me not, throwing it past the line of scrimmage. So, I think he's been really good with us this year. And I think it's like, I almost feel like he's doing it because he knows this is his last run and this is the last time we're going to see him. Now, I was told by someone over there that, he was given kind of a checklist of things that were going to happen this year when he came back. And you would imagine that those are all going to be part of it. Offensive line, new coordinator that you're going to have to listen to. So then why did he decide to come back then? He knew all what was going to happen.
Well, I think he felt like he had something to prove. I think the way that last year ended, he didn't want to go out that way, getting blown out by the Browns. But as it turns out, that would have been a much better ending than the one we're gearing up for right now, where we're discussing the semantics and the way the Steelers want to potentially in season give somebody else an opportunity to be their starting quarterback. I think Ben, it's really easy. I said this all offseason. It's really easy in March or April for Ben to say, sure, absolutely, I'll buy into whatever you guys want. I just want to be back and I want another chance. And then the bullets start flying for real and he's out there and he doesn't trust his offensive line. And he says, I don't want to do the pre-snap motion anymore. I'm not comfortable with it. I want to be primarily in the shotgun. I'll go under center a little bit, but not a lot. I don't really like doing play action. These are all things that I think Canada believes in, but Ben, 39-year-old quarterback, can't teach an old, dog new tricks. I just don't think he wants to fully commit to playing that way at such an advanced age. It's just an odd pairing, Richie. It's just a really weird dynamic. I felt like if you were going to bring Ben back, you might as well just have Fichtner for one more year. Instead, you've got two people that have a lot of power, a coordinator and a quarterback, who I just don't believe see eye to eye on things.
Yeah, I totally agree. I never understood it from the beginning. A veteran quarterback like him, maybe 1 or 2 years left, wanted to start over again with a new offensive coordinator who is running the show, basically, giving the keys to the car. Real quick before we go to break here, I do want to get your opinion on this. So what do you do? Do you let Ben just have the keys to the car and say, go ahead, you know what? We got to try to win it any way we can right now. You go ahead and take the reins and do what you do best.
Well, I think this is a critical game, and Tomlin didn't say that it's, put up or shut up time. He would never do that in a press conference on a Tuesday, put that kind of pressure on any player. But I think it is for Ben. I think this is it for him. I think if he gets beat at home by Denver, and think about it, if it's a backup quarterback, if it's Drew Lock who comes in here and beats him, if they're 1-4 and they're 3 games out of first place, and Ben is getting rid of the ball too fast, he's rushing, he's got happy feet, he's seeing ghosts. If those things happen to him again in this game, Richie, I think they'll say the hip's really bad, it flared up, he's hobbling around. We're just going to bench Ben. He's out right now because of an injury. We'll see what happens if he can heal up and get himself back on the field later in the year. But I think if they lose and he plays poorly, they'll find a way to get Mason Rudolph in the game against Seattle next week.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. We're going to take some phone calls. We got to go to a break right now. Back in a couple minutes.